Hi everybody.
Hello there.
I'm Jerry.
And I'm Linda.
We're the Newcomers. We have an important show today because we have an impending storm. The tropical storm Idalia is on its way here, and although we're in this what we usually consider the safety zone of Florida, right in the middle. In fact, we often say people leave the coast to come here and weather the storm. Yeah.
You do.
So today we have a really nice and somewhat prestigious guest with us today. It's Peter Bernard. Peter, tell them your background.
Well, I have been a reporter for 40 years. I'm also a meteorologist and a drone pilot, and I retired in 2020, January 30th at 6:02.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm living here in the village of Citrus Grove with my wife, who's a registered nurse, and I'm getting involved in the community, and I watch you guys all the time.
Oh,
well, excellent. We're so glad. And Peter's done a couple of our video questions, and he's very helpful, so we're glad to have him here today. Call on his expertise as a meteorologist and newsman, and I hope they'll see you on more of our shows.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Willing and able.
All right, so we're here in what usually is the safer part of the state, but that prediction has it kind of going right over us, doesn't it?
It does. The cone of uncertainty, as we refer to it, has the villages right in there, especially Sumter County. You get over towards Lake, it's not quite as prevalent over there, but for us, the cone of uncertainty includes us. So that means we could see some hurricane force winds here.
Okay. Well, my major concern, you know, my home, in fact, is made of concrete blocks.
Yeah.
So we think it's pretty sturdy. Mm-hmm. But outside we've got planters and pots. My neighbor has a smoker there, a gas grill over here. Those things could become projectiles, couldn't they?
Yeah, they can. Sometimes we refer to them as missiles, especially smaller potted plants. Or if you've got some doodads in your yard, you see the flamingos and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want a flamingo flying into your house. And the thing about the houses in the villages is we have not hurricane-resistant windows, or impact windows as we call them. They are low E, which means they keep the hot out or the cold out, depending on the season, but it's not going to take a direct hit.
I see 1, 2, 3 gazing balls over there in my neighbor's yard. Those may be called cannonballs after this week.
Yeah.
So hopefully that won't be an issue.
Right.
So we're going to kind of hurricane-proof the outdoors here. Now that pot over there probably weighs 150, 200 pounds.
Probably okay.
Probably okay, I hope so. Mm-hmm. But a lot of our neighbors like us have rocks around their landscape beds. What do you think of that?
I don't like it because those kinds of things can fly around. They're not high above the normal ground around here, so the idea of them flying and hitting your windows, probably minimal. And the problem is too, what are you going to do to mitigate that? You can't go around and put tarps all over it. The tarp's going to fly away.
Tarp's going to fly.
Yeah, I would say don't worry about those rocks right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but we got to get these chairs stowed away probably, and this couch that we're sitting on, this table, and we should all do that, because even though you think it's safe in your yard, if it's not, it could blow through your neighbor's window. You know, that's my real concern. If it breaks something right here, I'm not too concerned, but if it goes through my neighbor's lanai or something like that, it'd be bad.
Or their cage screens.
Yeah, they're bird cage.
Absolutely bird cage.
You mentioned the different kinds of construction here. There's block, there's tilt up, and we have, sometimes they refer to them as stick homes. The so-called frame or stick homes would be at greatest risk of having a problem. But with this kind of wind, I don't think we're going to have homes damaged. The tiles on your roof or the shingles on your roof might lift, and that would be a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do about it.
Nothing you can do about
Just
it.
clean up the damage later.
And these days, everything's built to what's called the Miami-Dade standard. So they put the nails a certain amount of feet apart. And so you're probably going to be all right. And if you get a couple of lifted shingles, it's not a big deal. It's easily repaired.
Okay. Now today, the day before the storm is supposed to start this way, I'll bet that Winn-Dixie and Walmart and Publix are pretty crowded.
I've heard such. My wife wanted to go down to Sam's and say, let's look at all the craziness going on down there. Yeah. Some of it's a little bit off the chart. If you lose your power for a while, you want to have some meals that you can make without a stove. If you've got gas, you're going to be all right. But a lot of these homes are electric. I think you're electric.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
All
so
electric.
if you're without electric for a few days, what are you going to do? You know, well, your refrigerator, the stuff in your refrigerator will keep as long as you don't open and close it a lot. But if you had some things that you could have in your house that you could eat without cooking, that would be advisable.
Okay.
Like Spam?
I won't touch that stuff, but yeah, like Spam.
Well, you know, today I've had several emails already. People are afraid as we get, and in fact, our first hurricane, we bugged out.
We bugged.
We just thought, hey, it's a good time to go see our son where was he? In Alexandria, Virginia.
Yeah, he's in
And
Virginia.
we went up there, and as it turned out, the hurricane missed, and we felt like, you know,
Silly. But
yeah,
we got a good vacation.
yeah, we always got to see him. So people are stocking up,
Yep.
and water. You know, they tell everybody, fill your bathtub with water. Is that overkill?
In this kind of a storm, and based on where we are, I would say yes. And really, you can drink anything. If you've got sodas in your refrigerator, you're going to be fine. And you talked about evacuation. I don't think anyone around here is going to need to evacuate. Now, down in Pinellas and Pasco, where I just recently moved from, they're having some mandatory evacuations. If you live in a mobile home down in that area, of course, you're not around here, that's automatic. You're going. Zone A and B, I believe, are evacuating in some counties right now. Hernando County Schools is going to not have school. So as far as evacuations go, the best thing I would give for people in the villages is shelter in place. If you live in, whether referred to as a stick home or a mobile home, and we do have some manufactured homes, surely you've got a neighbor that lives in a more substantial building, a block or something like that. Go to them. Don't go to a shelter. As a matter of fact, I'd be really shocked if they have any shelters open here.
Okay.
Shelters are not a good place to go, and some won't accept your pets.
Oh,
Yeah.
good point.
Yep.
Good point.
That's a good idea. I would think if you have an elderly neighbor, just check on them, tell them you'll be there in case there's trouble.
Great advice.
And maybe even invite them over if you have supplies and a substantial.
Yeah, that's great. And again, it's the shelter in place thing. Shelters are not a fun place to be. You get about 6 by 3 feet, and you can't bring certain things in there, and it's just not good. That is a last resort to go to a shelter.
Well, we had the Sumter County emergency manager here, David Casto, a couple of years ago, and he suggested people weather it in their own homes. They'd be safest there, and that we really don't have any, you know, as back in Indiana, you have tornado shelters and you
Yes.
have places to go.
Basements.
Yeah, there are no
Basements
basements.
here,
There are no really, usually your home's probably as safe as most other places.
I would say so. And if it really gets hairy, go to an interior area away from windows, similar to the tornado thing. Usually a bathroom is the best place to be because you've got 4 walls all around you. And usually in the villages, a lot of the windows here are these little slits, and so nothing's going to go flying through there.
Yeah.
Well, the notion that electrical power will go out is always a worry, but here in the villages, and we saw a big thread on Nextdoor, I just read it a while ago, and people from all over the villages were saying they'd been here 8 years, 10 years, 21 years, and they very seldom, if ever, lost power.
That's good. I had a generator back in Pinellas County. I sold it because I moved here and figured probably not going to need it. I hope I don't have to eat those words.
Yeah.
The good news about the villages is most of our utilities are underground. That doesn't mean the substations can't be put out of power, and we have those the big tension lines. They're a possible target for the storm, but really, I don't think we're going to have power outages here. But if we do, it's good to be prepared.
That's right. So we're probably all right, according to the meteorologist, Peter Bernard. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I don't really trust weathermen. I mean, and especially living here. I mean, it can be raining 2 blocks over, and you're watching it, and you don't get it. You know, it's hard to predict.
Yeah.
You know what, Jerry? This interview is over.
But we're going to follow your advice. We're not going to panic.
No.
Right.
We're going to ride it out right here, and I think we'll be fine too.
It concerns me you said some people are scared. I don't think anyone needs to be afraid of the storm. It's part of living in Florida. It's like alligators. You don't walk your dog near a pond, and when a storm comes in, you are prepared, and most of us live in pretty good, substantial houses here. If you have a shingle or 2 off, that's no big deal. Just make sure your yard's not going to have a missile flying through your house.
We just had to shut down for a minute because we had a hurricane warning come over Peter's phone and on ours, and it shut the camera down. What was that warning?
It's a warning for the villages. For me, I live in Citrus Grove, so I have a geolocated thing. So when anything happens weather-wise near me, it lets me know. But it was for the villages, meaning hurricane is imminent. Within the next few hours, you should be taking final preparations now.
Time to start getting those things from outdoors, indoors, and make your plan, right?
Yep, make a plan.
We had some friends that have a go bags that were ready to go, but they're not going to need them this time probably, but still, it shows that they're prepared.
Very smart. Having a go bag just in case you have to go to a shelter. Hopefully you don't, or go to a friend's house. You know, take an extra pair of clothes with you. Have some clothes, toiletries, things like that. Just have them ready to go.
All right. Well, it's very nice of Peter to come and join us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Had a good time talking with you. He is going to join us via Facebook during the storm. So if you haven't joined or followed us on Facebook, it's Jerry and Linda, the Village's Newcomers, and that's how we'll best keep you informed during the actual storm. So we appreciate you coming along with us today.
If you liked our video today, please press that like and subscribe button and share it with all your friends. Until next time.
See you when you get here.